Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy of Video Store Sasquatch here, and I made the decision Sunday at like 5 o'clock to go to the Queen of the Ring, directed by Ash Avildsen, starring Emily Bett Rickards as Mildred Burke, Josh Lucas as Billy Wolf, Tyler Posey as G. Bill, Walton Goggins as Jack Pfeiffer. In a time when pro wrestling for women was illegal all over the U.S., a small town single mother embraces the danger. She dominates America's most masculine sport and becomes the first $1 million female athlete in history. I mean, what a better way to start the month of honoring women than one of the most successful women athletes of all time, and that is Mildred Burke. I'm sure a lot of you probably don't even realize it, how successful she was. I kind of know. Not huge. I'm not huge into like wrestling history, but I do kind of listen, and I've heard stories of Mildred Burke, Moolah, Mae Young, um, and a couple of people that are mentioned in this story, like Jack Pfeffer, um, the NWA commissioner or whatever, kind of crazy, and the main girl Nell, whatever I kind of know, and then the there's you just kind of know the story. Gorgeous George, of course, I know about him because about everyone in wrestling today credits a little bit of their character from Gorgeous George. Basically, this would have been a time before it was WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever, or AEW or WWE, WCW, depending on how far back it's been since you watched wrestling. This would be a time when it was territory wrestling. It would have been AWA, Major One, WCCW, the Mid Atlantic area, Championship Wrestling. Pretty much every state would have had its own like major division, and all kind of came together into the NWA, which is the National Wrestling Alliance. A lot of times that commissioner would have been from St. Louis. Um, and Jack Pfeffer would have been an early commissioner too, or at least an early promoter for all that. Who Walter Goggins plays. Basically, what this story here is, instead of like an actual like territory, like a Southern territory or Northwestern territory or whatever, this is about women's wrestling and how it kind of hit every territory in the NWA through this school that Billy Wolf, who's played by Josh Lucas, who had been Mildred Burke's husband, and Mildred Burke would have been the first student from the school to kind of succeed and kind of like promote herself. And then from that, the other girls would come along. That's how we like got introduced to Mae Young here and stuff like this. So they would take it, and they would take their little individual female storylines and stuff like that, and like go in through the territories and like through dirt sheets and like news programs that just don't exist today for wrestling, which would probably be online, like gossip stuff like today is what is the best equivalent to it, honestly. I shouldn't say it doesn't exist, it just it changed mediums into the internet. And that's what we get here with the news cycle for wrestling, and stuff like that. So I mean it's crazy like how all that kind of worked out, but this story is awesome. This is another one of those domestic abuse, and I'm sure that whatever domestic abuse that they showed in the movie would have been 10 to 20 to 30 times worse in real life because of the time period and the fact that they're just going to kind of gloss over the fact that he kind of beat her a couple times just to kind of make you not completely hate this guy because he is like a very important figure in female wrestling like history. And even though like he did what he did, it wouldn't have been even a judgment thing back in the day, especially at this time period in the 40s and 50s. And you hear all the wild stories of just random people that you would have even thought of it that were the same way with their female companions. So they just do kind of gloss over it in this. And I kind of understand what they were talking about when they never really went to the police or anything to like go with it because it's just gonna make her look weak and make him look strong, and then that's not gonna help her famously, as a wrestler, and just the way times were back in the day. It's unfortunate. Keep saying that. A lot of good people in this movie. Tony Storm, wrestler. Trinity was in this, wrestler. Another girl from AEW was in this, and Caitlin England, I think, or something like that. I'm sorry if I got her name wrong. Brittany Baker, I think, was in this, and another one. So all these people, all these wrestlers were in this. And the one thing I want to say about Emily Bet Ricards here is she was in Arrow, and she was always like a little dainty thing, and that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And in this, she actually probably put on like 20 pounds of muscle and actually like looked like she would be like her size wrestling. So congratulations, Emily there. And the fact that we got some real female talent into it, and you could like look at their physiques and look at her physiques and like almost be like carbon copies, kind of shows you the dedication she took to this role, which is awesome. Um, James E. Cornette's in it. Deborah Ann Wool from True Blood's in this. And Kelly Berglund, who plays Nell, is the heel's Crystal. She's in this, so we kind of have like a crossover there too with both Emily and her have been worked with Stephen Amell from Arrow, respectively, and Heels, respectively. Plus, they brought in the fact that she was probably like halfway trained, as good as like these people already were before going in. And the same with Emily, because she would have had the action sequences and stuff in Arrow. So there's a lot of good casting in this, a lot of good, awesome, a lot of good character work in this. Francisca Eastwood, though, I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything, and if I have, I just never recognized her. I never recognized that that was Francisca Eastwood as a name. She plays Mae Young in this. She created a whole new character, a whole new category this year that we're going to look out for, because just the way that she was in this movie was like a natural breakout performance here from her as Mae Young. So next this year, when we add in our little 2025 awards, the one award will be the Breakout Performer of the Year, and that'll be because of her in this movie. A couple other people in other movies last year, I just didn't think about it, but for her for sure, because people like her that come out and like if you look at her thing, she's been doing this for a while now, and like you kind of miss her here, you kind of don't place her here, and then for her to come out swinging in a movie like this, awesome job. That's what we're looking kind of for in the video story, here, and the things that we like to celebrate. Of course, Josh Lucas is really good as Billy Wolf. The kind of B story between Mildred and G Bill is a little weird. You got to kind of go with it, especially during the times when you got to think about how hard it would have been to meet people, and when really she would have been closer to his age than Billy Wolf's age. So that's cool. Walton Goggins is Jack Pfeiffer is awesome. You can almost like feel that he's an old time promoter, especially from the South. He's just everything Walter Goggins does is just amazing, and it's good to have him in this movie here. He brings a real legit like flamboyancy to the role that they needed. The guy who played Gorgeous George did very well too. Um, there's so many good performances in here that I didn't write them all down, but it was just a really good movie altogether. I give it A+ for a biography movie. Overall B. I think you don't have to be a big wrestling fan, and you'll kind of enjoy the story. They explain the language of wrestling a little bit. It's kind of funny. I don't think that if you were gonna actually shoot on someone, that you're gonna tell them you're gonna shoot on them while they're like in a compromising hold where they could easily just kind of like, well, if you're gonna shoot on me, I'm gonna fuck you up anyways right here. So they kind of use it sparingly right here, and then you get a lot of the good though explanations of it, just basic definitions of what these things are and how they're used in the language. Yeah, I think a lot of this is carny talk, like kayfabe and stuff like this, and that's also how the wrestlers would get through to what they need to do is they use the carny kind of language to kind of like sell stuff and stuff like this. So especially in the 50s when they would have been selling when they would have been actually traveling with the carnivals. It's cool little story. It's cool to see the build up here. And it's kind of sad to see the sadness of the drop here because it is a steep drop. If you want to know more about her drop, there's plenty of it on podcasts and stuff like this. The one that just came out like 2 weeks ago to promote the movie that Cornette was in is on Jim Cornette's Experience. And just look up Jim Cornette and Mildred Burke, and it'll be like the first one that pops up. And you'll kind of learn like what happened to her after this movie. And it's kind of not like the greatest story because the fabulous Moolah came involved and stuff like this. And she would eventually took over for what Billy Wolf and Mildred would have been doing, even though Mildred still was like popular and they were in Japan and stuff like this. It's just this is interesting. It's all this stuff is like really interesting when you really get into like the history of wrestling and like the bare bones backs of like the storytellers, or there's a story in those storytellers just because their life was just so freaking crazy back then. And this is a great way to like show that, and it's a great way to like celebrate Women's History Month to just kind of start this month off. So let me know what you thought about it, if you guys seen it. If it's not something that you guys would want to watch, and you guys do finally watch it, because I remember, let me know what you guys think about it. Have a good rest of your day or night. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comments section. And see you next time in the cave.